Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on myths around plasma donation that is being organized by System Research Society. My name is Shubho and I'll be taking you through today's session. First of all, thank you all for joining in. I hope that all of you and your loved ones are safe and everything is well on your end. The COVID-19 pandemic has been an extremely tough time for everyone and has tested the limits of humanity. Never in history have we seen something that has impacted the entire world on such a scale. It has caused a great deal of loss, both in terms of human life and economic well-being around the globe. COVID-19 has nudged us towards a new normal, completely altering a lifestyle that will be there for years to come. Thankfully, today, we are in a time where we are connected with each other, with access to information to keep us informed and keep things going in a pandemic of this scale. This webinar is a series of discussions that will be organized by System Research Society. System Research Society, also known as SRS, is a non-profit organization that aims towards uplifting life. It embodies a commitment to promote awareness on global issues through capacity building, research, conferences and seminars by bringing people together and drawing their attention towards important causes, working on issues right at the ground level. SRS has been in action for nearly 12 years now, running multiple programs which include daily food distribution programs in Delhi, Hyderabad, Noida, and midday meals at schools in these cities, organizing regular medical and health checkup camps. Last year, SRS organized a pan-India campaign called the Don't You Waste Food campaign, which aims at reducing food wastage as a part of the UNDP's Sustainable Development Goals. And more recently, during the COVID lockdown, SRS was instrumental in distributing around 9 tons of dry ration to migrant labor families who were stuck and were unable to work. So that's the kind of work that the organization has been doing. And to continue towards their commitment towards building awareness amongst people on important issues, SRS is starting a series of webinars on topics that are relevant to us in this new normal. As the vaccine is yet to come, we are learning new ways to cope with this medical situation. Work from home has blurred the lines between work and home, increasing stress levels and impacting health. Education has changed to remote learning, altering plans for teachers, students, as well as the parents. And social distancing has become the cornerstone of all our social interactions. We will be touching topics on healthcare, education, mental health, and others in the weeks to come. And we really look forward to having you join in live and be a part of these webinars. So without further delay, let's introduce our speaker for today. Dr. Poonam Dewan is a consulting gynecologist and senior physician from Delhi. She graduated from Lady Hardinge Medical College. She's been a general practitioner for the past 34 years. She's been associated with the LIC of India for the past 15 years and has been a part of multiple social projects related to healthcare and nutrition. Thank you for being a part of the webinar today, Dr. Devan. We really appreciate that you could take out time out of your schedule and be a part with us. So first off, Dr. Devan, as a doctor and on behalf of the medical fraternity, what has been the experience when it comes to a pandemic of this scale?
Thank you very much, Shubho, for introducing me and also giving such a lovely talk on SRS. As far as the COVID-19 pandemic is concerned, we have never seen anything like this. Not only I, but even my parents who are in their 80s, they haven't seen anything like this in their lifetimes till now. So much of lockdown, so much of isolation, wearing masks everywhere. It has been a tough time for everyone. And the disease, its treatment is yet to be found, I feel. So uh, today, that's why we intend to talk about plasma donation, because that somewhere does help in the treatment.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Devan. So now we'll start straight away to the topic. Dr. Devan will be demystifying some myths on plasma therapy. And after the talk is complete, all the viewers are requested to please type in their questions within the chat box. So now, Dr. Devan, it's all yours.
Thank you, Shubho, again. So today I'm going to talk about plasma donation, why, what, who can donate, and why do we need plasma donation? So we begin with what is plasma? Plasma is a clear straw-colored liquid portion of the blood that remains after the red blood cells, the white blood cells, and the platelets are removed. This plasma contains antibodies which are required to fight the disease in the recipient. Now, basically, plasma donations have been going on and we have known about them from a long time. But somehow, for many other diseases, the treatments came over, and we found that for other diseases, it didn't really help much. But in COVID, we haven't seemed to, although there are a lot of new medicines, but we haven't really found something which is absolutely perfect for treatment. Next slide, please. Now, who can donate? The donors must be 18 to 60 years of age. The weight should be above 55 kgs. One should have 2 COVID negative reports after discharge from the hospital. Uh, People who have diabetes, blood pressure, who are HIV positive, hepatitis B and C positive cannot donate plasma. These are tested before the donation. Also, people who are suffering from cancer cannot donate blood. Ladies with past pregnancies cannot donate plasma. And donors with any active illness. One should not be on any medicines for the past 1 week, which means no antibiotics, no antifungals, and no antivirals before you can end up donating plasma. Next slide, please. The donation process. You should have a prescription for donating plasma. The standard blood tests are done to recheck the eligibility of donating plasma. Now, in this, obviously, the blood group also has to be matched. When we're looking for plasma donations, we have to find out we need plasma for O positive or AB positive or whatever. The blood groups have to match. The level of antibodies are checked after the standard blood test, and this is free of cost. And the donation process will take about 70 to 90 minutes, where the blood is extracted from the body, the plasma is extracted from the blood, and the rest of the blood is put back into the body. Uh, the first plasma donation machine was inaugurated by our chief minister in ILBS, which is the Institute of Liver and Biliary Sciences. So we were the first in India to start the plasma donation. Next slide, please. The difference between blood donation and plasma donation. Donation criteria are mostly same. One should be 18 years and above, less than 60 years. Your weight should be more than 55 kgs, and one should be healthy. And the only difference is it takes more time because the blood post plasma extraction is put back in the body, and so the machine comes into place. The blood donation takes about 15 minutes and the plasma donation takes about 90 minutes. After donation, you're made to drink some fluids and a sandwich which is provided by the center, and generally wait for an hour before you move out. In Delhi, people are being given incentives like 1500 for a cab ride, and also the incentive is there because you're doing it voluntarily. Even if you come in your own car, you're given money. Next slide, please. Commonly asked questions because people are very apprehensive about plasma donation. The first is, apart from India, is there any other country which is using plasma treatment? As far as I've talked to some friends in the UK and the US, UK, it is being used very rarely. And of course, the consent of the recipient and the donor both have to be taken before the treatment starts. In US also, because there's so many legislations and the doctors are scared of so many other side effects, not much of plasma treatment is being done. In India, we are doing a lot of things. Next question, please. Will I feel weak after donating plasma? Considering 500 ml of fluid is taken out of your blood, which is a total of 5 liters. Ideally, one is supposed to drink half a liter of water before donation, and you are given fluids to drink after donating plasma, so that general weakness and made to sit around for an hour before you can move out. So general weakness should not be more than an hour. And also um, the replenishment takes place within 24 hours, the replenishment of the fluid. So I don't think the weakness part is very important. Next question, please. Does the patient improve after receiving plasma? Yes, uh, many a times, most of the times, the patient does improve, but there are certain cases where the complications are more. And so the improvement may not look that good as compared to what our expectations were. Next question, please. Will I get infected after donating plasma? No. Any person who has suffered from COVID is immune to suffer from it again, at least for 90 days. This is what have been found. There have been very rare cases where a person has become COVID positive again. And so I don't think this should be an issue that infected from any other disease, not possible, because there are a lot of antiseptic precautions taken before you can donate plasma or blood. Next question, please. Why can't pregnant ladies donate plasma? Once a lady becomes pregnant, the because there is a little bit of blood which mingles between the fetus and the lady, there are certain antibodies produced in the lady's blood, and those antibodies create it's called TRALI, which is transfusion induced acute lung injury. And since COVID is affecting the lungs, uh, this kind of problem will be very, very dangerous to the health of the recipient. And many a times blood donation recipient, blood recipient also are found to die within 24 hours if this kind of problem exists or takes place. So a lady who has been pregnant even once should not donate plasma. Next question, if there's any. Yes, now we have a list of plasma donation centers in India. It has been updated on 28th July, but recently I've come to know we have almost 7 centers in Delhi, one in Assam, one in Bihar, Chandigarh we have one, and Gujarat we have 3, Karnataka we have one is written. We have at least 3, 4 more, because there's a huge HCG hospital, I think, out there, which I have a lot of centers. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yes, so Madhya Pradesh, we have Indore, Maharashtra, we have at least 5 centers in Mumbai. There could be more by now. Punjab, we have one in Patiala. If we count Chandigarh as a part of Punjab, we have another one. Rajasthan, we have one, and so on. I think this list we'll be putting up on Facebook so that anybody can take any reference. Also, there are certain donor sites where a person can log into. Next slide, please. Yes, these are the commonly used links for plasma because one really doesn't know where to go. These links have been created by NGOs and these are private links. I'm not very sure if there's any government help or assistance which we can get for donating plasma. Most of the times we get messages on WhatsApp that a certain blood group plasma is required for a patient. I think we can go on to questions if there are any.
So, Dr. Devan, thank you so much for all this information. So, starting off, what is the WHO stance when it comes to plasma as a method for COVID treatment?
Unfortunately, Shubho, recently WHO has they don't want to promote plasma donation for whatever reasons. And like so many other medicines, they don't want to promote HCQS, they don't want to promote so many medicines. So they have their own reasons for not doing so. But yes, we can also say that we cannot expect 100% improvement after the recipient gets plasma. So maybe that's why even the doctors don't really want to promote, because it increases the expectation of the patient and their relatives, that if they've got plasma, they'll improve magically.
I think there is a lag from Shubho's end. I'll ask the next question.
Okay.
What can be the other ways to promote plasma donation adversely?
Basically, I think promotion should be with these kind of talks like the ones which we are giving, and of course, we can promote it in our WhatsApp groups. I think that seems to be the most popular method of talking to people nowadays, since we are not communicating personally.
All right. What is the status of the health department move to state government for approval to provide cash incentives aimed at encouraging voluntary plasma donation?
See, I know what is happening in Delhi. I don't know about any other state, but I know that in Delhi, people are getting incentives for voluntary donation of plasma.
All right. We have a question from the Facebook attendees. Is there any success rate for plasma donation?
As I answered before, it's about 50 to 60%. It depends upon how early the plasma donation has been done. If the person has been recently admitted to hospital and he seems to be in a mediocre level of infection, it would be the best time to give him plasma.
All right.
Because once the disease progresses more, not much of help can be got by the plasma donation.
All right. Pranshu asked, does low antibodies affect plasma donation adversely?
No, but there won't be any use, because we have to have a certain level of antibodies to be able to get a success out of that donation. If the antibody level is not high, I don't think it'll be very successful.
Shivika Manchanda asks, is there a government regulatory body in place or in process of formation to monitor the collection of plasma?
The government is taking donations in their centers, because most of the hospitals who are taking donations are government ones. So they are recommending donations, I suppose.
Okay, sorry everyone. I think I had dropped off, and I think that's a very regular feature when you're working from home on webinar.
Yeah.
Right. So continuing the question, there's a question from Facebook. The question is, do you consider home treatment for a COVID positive patient if the symptoms are not very bad?
Definitely, if the person is not having too many problems, and their most important thing is the oxygen level, because that tells us whether the lungs are getting affected. So if the fever is not very high and the person is not having throat infection, or they are not having cough or breathlessness, till that time they are safe at home. And maybe around the 7th to 10th day is the time when we expect the lungs to get affected. So if in that, before the 7th day, if we feel that the patient is not improving, then they have to be shifted to hospital, but they have to have a COVID positive report with them. They just can't walk into hospital that I'm not feeling well, because the COVID positive report is the first thing they'll ask for. And that takes about, the fast test is not very accurate, and the COVID positive report takes about 24 hours. The RT-PCR one.
Okay. Sunita ji has an interesting question. She asks, post plasma donation, are there any precautions that somebody should take?
After the donation.
Yes.
Yes. Basically, we expect, since about 500 ml of fluid has been taken out from your body, the only thing you can have is a little bit of vertigo, or that feeling of weakness, which will last about an hour. Because immediately after donation, one is supposed to sit or lie down and drink fluids and maybe eat a sandwich or so. And that 1 hour is enough for the person to feel revived. until unless there is some other underlying problem due to which he is not improved. Usually 1 to 1.5 hours you're made to sit around in the center and then leave if you're feeling fine.
Okay. And this is from the donor's point of view. And if
Yeah.
somebody is getting treated via plasma donation, is there any specific precautions they should be taking?
See, if you're in the hospital setup anyway, uh, one is always ready for any complications or any reactions which could take place. So the standard oxygen and the steroids and everything is usually ready, and the nurse is always at standby. So I don't think one should worry about the level of reaction at the hospital level. And this can't be done at the home level. It has to be at a big center. So
All
one
right.
is usually looked after well if something like this is going on.
Okay. So it's more or less the same, nothing specific.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. There's a question from Mr. Ajay. He asked, is the age of the patient a factor as far as plasma therapy is concerned?
The donations, of course, as we have discussed that below 18 and above 60 cannot donate. The ladies cannot donate if they have been pregnant ever. As far as the recipient is concerned, I think um, uh, we can expect improvement will be there. And all the people who have lower immunity levels, that means the elderly, and sometimes even the younger patients, although antibody levels have been found to be good in these two uh, people only. I mean, the above 60 who cannot donate and the below 18 who cannot donate. But still, if they are ill, they need this kind of help.
Okay. Uh, all right. We'll move on to the next question. Mr. Amit Gaurav asked, what are the likely risks plasma donors entail if he or she is to donate?
Not many. Because if you're being looked after at a big center, you're not just walking into any other place. It's a huge hospital. You've been checked up for your blood pressure and sugar and everything else. Because as I said before, the sugar and the blood pressure patients are not advised to donate. And especially when you've been under treatment. So apart from that feeling of weakness and a little bit of vertigo, I'm not expecting too many problems. Yes, if you go by the book, there's a huge page of problems listed, like any other. Even medicines have a huge side effects and adverse effects written. So, but the basic problem can be only vertigo and weakness, and that is very temporary.
All right. Okay. So you had mentioned about some incentives that were being offered, like you mentioned
Yeah,
about
I actually
compensation for the cab, transportation, and
yes,
all.
yes, about
So are the
1,500.
incentives or similar incentives only being given in government hospitals or even in private ones?
I would not know about private hospitals, but ILBS is a Delhi government one, and they are really promoting it I think, because they are advertising at their own level, and they give about 1,500 of cap fare, and I think 500 rupees extra, so about 2,000 rupees. Can an asymptomatic person donate plasma? I think this is what you want to ask. Um, See, if a person is asymptomatic, he doesn't know if he's been COVID positive. So first he'll have to get a RT-PCR done to see whether he's positive or not. Now, if he's not positive, he can again, if he really wants to donate, he'll have to get his antibody testing done. And if the antibody level is good, then he can donate.
Okay. So we have another question from Anubha Goyal. Why can't women who have been pregnant donate?
I did touch this topic in my talk. It's basically because if one has been pregnant, at the time of birth, there is a little bit of mixing of the fetal blood with the mother's blood. And thereby, the antibodies are produced in the mother, which are not harmful for her. But if this blood oblique plasma is donated to somebody else, it can create TRALI, which is the name of the problem which occurs. It's called transfusion induced acute lung injury. And considering COVID is basically affecting the lungs, it can be very, very risky. Next question, please.
All right. So we have a question from the Facebook. Can one donate plasma twice?
Yes, one can donate plasma 2 times.
One of the questions that we have got is even if I'm not positive but have antibodies developed in me, can I donate
Okay.
plasma?
Yes, if the level of antibodies is according to what the center expects you to have, you can donate plasma, but then you have to have a COVID negative report.
Pranshu has another question. Apart from COVID-19, is plasma therapy being used in other treatments as well?
It was tried, it has been tried for the past 100 years off and on. And but since the results haven't been really perfect, it hasn't been promoted. But since for COVID, we don't have any other treatment available, um, we are using plasma donation, and that too more in India.
All right. Anubha ji has another question. At what stage of COVID do you require the plasma?
As I said, when the patient is admitted in the hospital and he's moderately ill, the lesser ill patients who have very few symptoms, they'll either be at home or will be in a isolation ward in the hospital. But the people who are moderately ill and we think they may go into complications, they are the people who are expected to get plasma.
All right. Uh, there's a question. What are the visible COVID symptoms, pre-COVID symptoms?
Well, COVID is something like a flu. So basically, you would pre-COVID, you wouldn't even come to know. Basically, just weakness or maybe a little bad throat, and sometimes a little bit of fever or diarrhea.
Mhm.
But pre-COVID is just can be any other disease. Pre-disease, pre-fever, we get weakness or lack of appetite because there is an incubation period of the disease.
All
So
right.
the first 3 days before the fever sets in or the disease sets in, we start feeling weak and not really up to the mark with a little bit of lack of appetite. I suppose it's similar.
All right. Uh, Puneet ji asks, in the process of plasma donation, when the blood is returned back to the donor, any chances of the blood getting clotted in the process?
I don't think so. Because there are blood thinners in your own blood anyway.
All right.
And we are not removing those vitamins. And I suppose it's very fast. So I haven't heard of something like this.
Okay. Uh, there's a question from the Facebook again. Uh, Dr. Rakesh Diwan asks, if the antibodies levels are good, can one donate plasma twice? Okay.
Yes, we can donate twice because although gradually as the time period increases after you've suffered from COVID, the antibody levels will start falling down. But yes, after 15 days, you can donate.
Yeah, thank you, Anmol. Sorry once again. I think I'm having a very unstable network today. Uh, right, coming back to questions again. So, Gayatri ji asks, what is the ideal duration between plasma donations?
15 to 20 days or maybe a month if the antibody levels persist.
Okay, and that would be across all ages, or it would be dependent on like your
I think
antibody
the
count?
criteria of age remains the same, that you should be between 18 to 55 and you should have a good body weight and not suffering from any illness at that time.
Okay, right. So the next question comes from Shivika. She asks, what can be done to destigmatize plasma donation?
I think we can give public talks and because there are uh, education, health education projects going on from AIMS and other hospitals, which are probably at a standby now because there is social distancing and one is not really going into public meetings. But yes, online we can promote.
All right. I think we can continue with more questions.
Okay.
Right. So there's a question again from Facebook from Mr. Vivek Bhasin. He asked, if I have been cured from COVID, is it a certificate? Is it a certificate that I won't be getting the disease again? and I can live a free life?
I don't think so, because we are hearing of reinfections. And even although it is said that 3 months you might be, you may not suffer from COVID again, but there are some people who are COVID positive even for 1 or 2 months. There have been cases where a child was COVID positive for 2 months and he never suffered from COVID. He was asymptomatic. So we cannot say that you may not get COVID after 3 months of having been infected. You will have to wear masks and keep social distancing.
Okay, right. So, Dr. Devan, coming back to like you had mentioned, Dr. Rakesh Dhawan had given a statement.
Yeah.
He says that please refer to the results of a large clinical trial conducted by ICMR over 4 months that had around 425 patients.
Okay.
So, in a nutshell, it said that there was no significant improvement in mortality, morbidity.
Mhm.
So, no scientific evidence is there of any worthwhile use.
Mhm.
And however, he's saying it has not been discontinued, and
Yeah.
private hospitals are minting money by advising it to almost all patients.
Okay.
So, what is your take on that?
Well, we can never really say what the private hospitals are up to. They are giving a lot of antivirals and they are giving so many other medicines to the patient. And yes, I think it becomes difficult for the government to take up a project of this size, because again, as we all know, donations of blood or plasma are difficult to come by. People don't want to come back to hospital and do, I mean, if you ask anybody come and donate blood, they are not happy about it. So it's something similar. People just don't want to donate blood or plasma. So I think the government hospitals get stuck somewhere in between the lack of facilities, and the private ones can anyway get donors, because they, if they create this thing, a message that we want to donate plasma or give plasma to your recipient, then the at least the relatives will run around and try and get one.
All right. Um Mr. Vivek Bisin asks another question. He says, how can awareness be created in the rural areas of our country?
I think everybody is net savvy nowadays. Everybody is on WhatsApp. So I think that should be the medium used to promote awareness. But again, in the rural areas, do we have the facilities to get the plasma and get plasma donations and then again transfuse it to the recipient? I think that would be very difficult, because all this is being done only in bigger centers and bigger cities. I know of
Okay.
people who travel kilometers uh, away from their home just to get treatment, because the smaller places don't have any facilities.
Okay. We just see, I'm sure our viewers can type in more questions. Right. So Mr. Dwarkanath asks, is plasma suitable to any blood group, or are there any groups that have
No, the blood
differences?
groups have to be matched. There is no other choice. The blood groups have to be matched, and there has to be a testing that the plasma will match the recipient or not. Like the blood is tested before giving it to the person, and we just can't give it to anybody. There are too many risks involved.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Devan, about that. Right. The next question comes from Mr. Ajay. He asked that is it possible to collect plasma outside of hospitals? For
No,
example, well-equipped ambulances?
in the ambulances, we'll take blood donations, not plasma. And from 1 unit of blood donation, we can get about uh, enough plasma to give it to 2 patients, because 250 ml of plasma is given to 1 patient. So if we've extracted somewhere around 500 ml of blood, probably, maybe if not totally 500 ml of plasma, but at least 350 ml we would be able to get. So blood donation can be done in vans, well-equipped vans, not everywhere again.
Okay, so it will really depend on how well equipped the van is,
Yes,
otherwise it's
yes, yes.
almost
Although there
pointless.
are centers which are
Okay,
set up for blood donations off and on, and so one has to have the equipment of needles and bags and refrigerators. So if they have this kind of a facility, they can do it, but only they'll be able to take blood, not plasma.
okay. Pranshu has another question. He asks, in your opinion, is further research required in plasma therapy, and can there be a dedicated department or science for it?
As Dr. Rakesh did mention that the ICMR also seems to have scrapped the idea of plasma donation. So I wonder if, you know, there is any need. It's just that since we are at a loose end of what to give to the patient, and this seems to help a little bit. That's why it's being used. Maybe we won't think about it for once the COVID is over.
Okay. There's a question from Gayatri J. I think you've answered this. How many plasma infusions would a person need as a part of a treatment?
I read somewhere that a person can be given two transfusions. One, supposing a person has got a transfusion today, then he can be given another one in 24 hours.
Okay. And it's advised to always give the second round of infusion, or that's if the condition is not improving.
If the condition is not improving. And we hope that the person might improve with the second round.
Okay. Right. The next question comes from Arushi. She asks, is the medical fraternity receiving enough support from the government? And do you think plasma transfer has a future given that COVID is here to stay for a while?
As far as the support from the government to the medical facility is being questioned, because the doctors are not at all happy. There is no support from the government. There are no dedicated beds for doctors who fall sick after giving so many duties in the hospital looking after COVID patients, and they have to end up running around to private hospitals for their own treatment. It's happened to many people. There are lots of doctors who have died after having suffered from COVID. It's a very sad state of affairs. The second part of the question, I think she said, what was it? Shubho, if you can repeat.
Yeah, yeah. So she asks, do you think that plasma transfer has a future given that COVID is here to stay for a while?
Well, if the ICMR is saying it's of no use, it's only the private hospitals who will keep on recommending it, I suppose. So it's a 50-50 thing.
Okay. Mukul asks a question. He asks, can the recipient get infected with the disease that the donor has?
That is why one is screened, but we don't know what new disease will come out maybe 5 years later, because as HIV infected a lot of people who had just been given blood during surgery, and they came to know so many years later. So we don't know what new disease will crop up. But yes, if a person is suffering from malaria or any other thing, the recipient can get it.
Okay. Dwarkanath ji asked a question. He says, just like for blood, we can measure the quality of blood. Is there a way of measure the quality of plasma also?
Yes, we do measure the level of antibodies in the plasma. Only then, and if the antibody level is good, only then the plasma will be taken, not otherwise.
Okay, so it's only basically your antibody.
Yes, it's only the antibody level. If the exact level, I don't know how much they expect the antibody level to be, but it has to be good for it to have a good effect on the recipient. Otherwise, it's useless.
Okay. Shivika asked a question. She says, apart from fluids, what is the immediate need in terms of vitamins, minerals for the donor after donating plasma?
These are very small things. I think one can just pop some multivitamins for another 10 days. And basically, one has to be well hydrated, drink a lot of fluids, and eat well, healthy food. that should be. Otherwise, I don't think vitamins का कितना drain हो जाएगा out of 5 liters if one has taken out half a liter. If you are anyway not deficient in vitamins, I don't think it should affect you.
Okay. So is vitamin deficiency otherwise evaluated before
No,
plasma donation?
no. One would
Not.
not look into vitamin D and vitamin B12 deficiencies. As I said, one has to be looking healthy and not having suffered from any disease uh, at least a week prior to donation.
Okay. The next question comes from Mr. Bala. He says that he thinks he had COVID-19 but did not get a test. Can he still donate plasma?
He has to get his antibody level checked, and the maximum level of antibodies will be there somewhere around 14 to 28 days after he had the infection. So if it is 1 or 2 months later already, the antibody levels would be dying down. So basically, he has to get his antibody testing done now.
Okay. Uh, Fine. So, Mr. Bala, you need to first go and get a test done.
Antibody test done and see that you're COVID negative.
Okay. The next question comes from Mr. Puneet. Yes, can the plasma of a universal donor blood be used for everyone in the case of his blood?
I don't think people would be taking any risks because what universal donor and the recipient thing happens in blood if you're in a remote village and there is no help available. At the moment, all these transfusions are being done in bigger hospitals. So one usually is hunting for a person with the same blood group who has had suffered from COVID, not otherwise.
Okay. Dr. Devan, I guess Dr. Rakesh Devan had mentioned a comment previously to which you had responded. So
Haha,
he's had an additional comment. He says that my two admitted patients improved on plasma therapy.
haha.
So he recommends plasma therapy.
So that's great. That is what we are trying to do because
Okay.
nothing else is available anyway.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Rakesh Devan, for validating that. It really helps us well in sync with today's webinar where we're trying to tell people about the plasma donation, how probably it can be helpful for people. So thank you for that.
I think you're missing out a question from Marushi. What is the
Ye-
success rate globally? It is not
Yes.
plasma donation and plasma transfusion is not being done worldwide, especially in the European and US. They're too scared of legislations. So it's basically in India that we are seeing a lot of it and hearing a lot of it because I did ask some friends of mine, and the friend from UK said it's very rare that we are giving plasma. And the US friend, she ended up sending me a huge catalog about problems in plasma donation and reception. So I think they're too scared to try anything like that.
Uh, okay, Dr. Devan, there's another question. It's from Anmol. So he says, there was a news article where the government had said that only in the case of emergency or when
Mhm,
oxygen needs to be given,
mhm.
plasma can be donated then and there. So,
Maybe that's why it's an emergency for people who, keep on advertising that we need plasma as urgently as possible. But I think everything requires time. You have to hunt for a donor. He should be ready to donate, and then he should reach the place where donation is required. So it's a huge this thing. I don't know how they are able to, because I do remember a doctor who's recovered fully, and he was in Max Saket. He's one of our presidents, and his whole family suffered from COVID. And luckily, they were able to get plasma, and they gave other antiviral therapies also. But he's recovered.
okay, that's really good.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's.
yes, Dr. Devan. Prancho asked the question. He says, at which stage is plasma generally given post-diagnosis?
As I said, when the person is admitted in hospital and he seems to be falling more sick than what is expected. So if a person is running high fever, he has started having respiratory problems, in the beginning only it is better to give plasma. That would be better.
Okay. And when you're saying falling more sick, is it in terms of any white blood count or breathing, lung damage?
Basically
How is it?
lungs, and oxygen levels start falling. So the person has more of breathlessness and oxygen levels, SpO2 starts falling. Uh, Basically, the first thing we tell our patients is that if your SpO2, which is the level of blood which is measured by the oximeter, if it is falling below 93, you should get yourself admitted. So if a person has reached a hospital at this stage, it would be better to give him plasma. At least let him have the ability to fight the disease with the addition of antibodies in his blood.
Okay. Thank you for that. The next question is from Suman. She asks, how long after childbirth plasma donation can be undertaken?
Cannot be given
Okay.
at all. A lady who has ever been pregnant cannot donate plasma.
Okay. And in case somebody, let's say a newborn child is born with COVID-19, like we've come
Uh-huh.
across a situation, what about a donation to a newborn child? Is
I
that
don't think
possible?
so. No, no, it won't be tried because the child is at a newborn child is too sensitive and very, high risk person, because we don't know how his body is going to react. And it is being said that COVID-19 in children is more severe.
Okay. In terms of mortality rate or the threat of,
Yes,
okay,
the
both.
both, both. It's very severe because new data is coming out, and children seem to be suffering more.
Okay. Any specific age group, like below 5, 10, anything like that?
Basically, those 10 to 13-year-olds and even younger children sometimes, the infants, if they get COVID, it becomes tough.
Okay. So, like, do you think that because of a lot of pollution, like the generation these days is born in an extremely polluted environment, is that
Yes.
also one of the reasons why people are having a problem because the lungs are getting damaged? Do you think that can be attributed?
Yes, it could be. It could be. Because something which is affecting our lungs is making us more at risk for other problems also. And although it is said that in India we are exposed to a lot of infections, so we have more immunity levels as compared to other people in the world. But since we have now been isolated for so long in our homes and we are using masks, so our natural immunities are coming down.
Right. So then pollution also has a hand in
Yes,
mortality rate.
definitely, definitely.
All right. There's a question from Anmol. He asked, is there any expiry to the donated plasma?
I think one needs, I am not very sure about this, but there have to be, because I think they like to take it fresh. They don't store. But this is one question which I can answer after I read up.
So there's another question. If a lady got plasma transfer done and she conceives later, will anything get transmutated in the child? Any kind of genetic mutations?
Can't say. This is something very new. We don't know what's going to happen, what side effects are going to happen, because as we are coming to know, there are OPDs dedicated to people who've suffered from COVID. So the problems are coming back, even if they've gone back home fully treated. They seem to be coming back with respiratory problems and other problems. So we don't really know what things are going to happen later.
There's another question. Are doctors getting affected during the transfer of plasma?
No, this can't happen because everything is sealed and packed, and they don't get in touch. It's the drip which has to be given, and one is usually careful about it. It can't affect the doctor.
So there is some kind of safety when the doctors are kind of transferring that plasma into the infected patient.
See, anyway, nowadays one is wearing gloves and everything else. So there is no direct contact with the skin.
All
One
right.
is wearing almost two gloves in hospital with the PPE kits and everything else. These people are layering up in gloves also.
Mhm,
So one can get affected or infected only if the plasma or blood touches your skin, which has cuts in it.
mhm.
Since there's no exposure to skin directly, I don't think it'll affect.
Sorry, I dropped again. I think I've had a very unlucky day in my network. Uh,
I think we are almost done with the
Pranshu,
questions. Okay.
yes, almost done. Pranshu has one last question, so I think we'll have the last two, three questions if anyone else has.
Yeah.
Pranshu says, is the medical fraternity talking about the pros and cons of the therapy and making any recommendation?
I don't think the people who are working with COVID patients have any time on their hands because those they have such tough level of duties. And yes, by word of mouth, maybe we come to know that it is being recommended. But those people who are giving duties don't have time on their hands. They'll work for a week, stay in isolation for another week, and then come home for a day or two to go back to work again. So
All
even if
right.
we haven't
Uh,
really, yes, as
okay, he asked, will you suggest it?
it has been validated by Dr. Rakesh Diwan also that he does recommend. So I think yes, if we are talking about plasma donation, we will recommend.
All right. And I think this will be the last question that we'll take for today. It comes from Arushi. She says, are there any specific deficiencies which develop over a period of time post transfer?
No, nothing. See, out of 5 liters, you're giving what? 500 ml of the fluid. And that too, it gets, see, for blood, we are told that it gets replenished in 21 days, the RBCs which are lost. And so, as far as plasma is concerned, except for the first 1 hour or the first 24 hours, I don't see any problem. Vivek
Okay,
seems to be posting
I
some
think,
question.
yes, fine. So this will be the last question we'll take then. The big question everyone is asking, when is the vaccine expected to come and what is the period you feel we will be all able to get vaccinated?
Well, they are doing trials, and sometimes the trials also fail. I think there was one or two trials which have been stopped by the government because uh, see, for any disease, the vaccine has taken about 2-3 years to come. Even if we fast forward the tests, we have to be very, very sure that no human being suffers from the side effects. Although, if you just go and read the side effects of the vaccinations which are giving to children, one would be scared to give that shot to your own child because the side effects list is huge. But most of the times we don't see problems. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Maybe another 6 months we should expect something.
Yes.
It's a
Uh,
preventive. Vaccines are always preventive. Sorry, I have jumped that question. uh, it is never curative. You can cure a disease with medicines or plasma or whatever antivirals are available. But vaccines are always preventive. It will build up the antibody level in your blood so that you are able to fight the disease. That is the basic idea of any vaccine.
okay, I think now all our questions are over for the day. Uh, right. And we've managed to keep it also well within time. So thank you so much, Dr. Devan, for taking out time out of your schedule and help us understand more about the plasma donation. It was really informative, and I'm sure there were a lot of myths and questions that people had today that you were able to help them out with.
Thank you, Shubho. It was a good session for me too.
All right. Before we wind up, just also would like to thank Anmol. Thank you so much, Anmol, for taking out time from your schedule and setting up all the IT needs and infrastructure for making it possible, and jumping in when I was having a very unlucky network day today. So thank you for everything. Uh, Also, just would like to inform you, so the next webinar that we'll be having on the 16th of October, and we keep on regularly posting the topics and letting you who will be the speaker and what is the topic. So I'd like to thank each and every one of you who's joined in today. Thank you so much for being such a patient audience and for making this session very interactive. Please do join us in the coming weeks and definitely on the 16th of October as we'll be addressing more topics. Until then, stay safe and we hope to see you all soon.
Thank you.